नमो अरिहन्ताणं नमो सिद्धाणं नमो आयरि Indriya plays part, cause of influx of karma. It's all, this is our main input output of our physical body, and then gets related to, you don't have that anyway. Well, when you send me your email, I'll send you all these 9 charts. When we did Navtattva, we had done this, But this is, non-restrained, of course, yoga, man, vachan, kaya. And then, all of these activities, we can go through all of those, but, these are all the causes of, attaching karma to our body. I'm sorry. The non-rightness develops distorted vision so that we are not able to see the things in the right perspective. The non-restrained character develops desire in us, which produces, kashaya, greed and greed-based habits. The non-vigilance aspect of chitta develops attachment and delusion. These are all our internal creation and have no relation with physical body, brain or mind. This character originates from adhyavasai or karma and manifests in physical chitta. The mind now works in accordance with the chitta. The mind is not the source of our thought, but only a mouthpiece of subtle chitta. Adhyavasaya present in all living organization. Any 1 sense living being, 2 sense to 5 sense living being, even in a plants, will see that there is a biophoton. So there is biophoton all around us. This implies Adhyavasaya present in a body cells are source of knowledge. This could be pure and impure. In case of impure Adhyavasaya, the organism without brain or mind cannot have a bondage of karma. We're talking about nigod jiva. This happens in some plants, in organism too, having 1 or 2 or 3, 4 sense. The lesia produces feeling which interacts with the endocrine glands and influence secretion of hormones. So lesia is directly responsible for our hormones. Hormones are the one mixed with the blood, reach the nervous system and brain, and manage and control our emotion, thought, speech, conduct, behavior. Thus the karma acting through lesia and hormones determines our personality and traits. So these hormones are really, this conduct, behavior, thoughts, emotions, actually looking, those are all mohaniya karma. Right? Kashaya, even no kashaya, laughing, joking, it's all emotions. So actually bleed over of kashaya is no kashaya. Laughing, joking, all of this. So we have to learn what are those glands are, So let's see, it's 10. We have one video for the glands. A lot of these things, there's such a good video, it explains so much about it. So let's read this thing because I think it's very important because all these glands are the one, like we know, certain glands create a sleeping habit. Melatonin, right? I can't pronounce. Melatonin, right? Those are sleep disability, which is Darshanavaniya karma, right? So each of those hormones, the blood sugar not doing well, that's our Vedaniya karma. Our senses says that, oh, this mango is so sweet, and let's eat, but then you eat those and then your blood sugar goes up. So here is the fight between our weakness in our indriya, And what our conscious is saying, he said, no, you can't eat 2 mango. You have to do unodari, eat 1 less. So here is the fight starts and gets everything recorded in karma body through Lesha. Now those are the saints, like they have this full control over 5 senses. And everything goes right through the physical body. It doesn't go through karma or Lesha. And he said, stop it, this is wrong. Sukla bhav. Only the purest of pure bhav. Shalibhadra went through, we saw that example, punyadi bandha punya, that he achieved that punya by providing the kheer to this. And then he still went on the right side, and then took a diksha, gave up everything. So those are the one, just pure vibrations, pure Suddha vibration. So let's see the video.
The Endocrine System podcast. If you look way up there at that guy, his name is Robert Wadlow. And that guy, I have no idea what his name is because he's not Robert Wadlow. Robert Wadlow is the tallest man that we have in modern day. He was something like 8 feet 11 and a half inches at the time of his death. And he was that tall because he was a pituitary giant. In other words, he had a tumor, we now know, that was pushing on his pituitary. It was making it produce a hormone called growth hormone, which made him get as tall as he eventually was. And so that wasn't normal. It does put pressure, and he died fairly young, just mostly, I think, due to circulation problems. He started to get blood clots. And so basically it talks a little bit about the endocrine system. When I'm talking about the endocrine system, the other system that's really important to talk about is called the nervous system. So the nervous system, remember, is basically going to be made up of neurons. So you have all these dendrites that come into the cell body. So the cell body looks like this. And then you have an axon that comes way down here. And then you're going to have another neuron down here that's connected with a bunch of dendrites to a cell body. And it's going to move here. Now this distance right here, the separation between the two is called a synapse. A synapse is going to be a gap between neuron 1 and neuron 2. Now, why is the synapse important? Well, we get control over the chemicals that we send. But this podcast isn't about the nervous system. And the reason why is that nerves just travel in one direction, from this neuron to another neuron to another neuron. They just go in one direction. And so my analogy is it's like Gmail. When you send an email from one person to another person, or they send it from one person to another person, that's like the nervous system. You're sending a message from one person with a clear destination, and that's the nervous system. It goes really fast, and it's going to target a specific cell. And so when do we use the nervous system? When we have to do something really quick. So if somebody were to throw something at me and I were to dodge it, that would be my nervous system that is acting. So the endocrine system is more like Facebook. If I were to post to my Facebook status update that I am working on a cell communication podcast by myself, ironic, and I just put it out there, there's going to be a delay. There's going to be time before other people look at it and dislike it or like it or respond to it. And so that's going to be more like the endocrine system. I'm sending it out to everybody, and whoever wants to respond to it can. And so basically keep that in the back of your mind. What are some terms that you should understand? First of all, anything that is going to send out these messages in the endocrine system is called a gland, and we'll go over 10 important glands. The chemical that they send out is called a hormone, and then it's going to target cells or not. It may target certain cells or it may not target other cells. And so we could send, for example, follicular stimulating hormone from the pituitary. It's only going to affect the ovaries and the testes. But if we send out growth hormone, that's going to affect all the cells in your body. So what do those hormones do? They simply diffuse throughout your body. They're going to spread throughout your body. And so they are going to bump into cells or not. They're going to spread throughout your whole body. And that's why If you've ever felt like adrenaline, you almost get in a car accident, you just feel like almost something coursing through your body, that's going to be your endocrine system. Now, when they find cells, one of two things can happen. If they are a water-soluble hormone, example could be epinephrine or adrenaline. If they're water soluble, basically what they're going to do is they're going to dock with a protein on the surface of their cell. Since they're water soluble, they can't gain entry to the cell. And so usually what they'll do is they'll set up some kind of a signal transduction pathway, just have some kind of an action out here, or have another action inside the nucleus where we could make certain specific genes or certain proteins. Transcribe certain genes. But that would be water soluble. We also have what are called lipid soluble. So testosterone is an example of that. Basically, since it's lipid soluble, it's going to move right through that the lipid bilayer that is the cell membrane, and it also can target with the cell and move right into the nucleus, because again there's going to be a lipid bilayer here as well. And so lipid soluble hormones are going to move all the way into the cell. Water soluble are just going to dock with a receptor protein on the surface. And so here's our endocrine system. So endocrine system is not as tightly linked together like the circulatory system, but again it doesn't have to be because it's sending hormones throughout the whole body. And so basically we've got glands going all the way up at the top to from the pineal gland all the way down to the ovaries and the testes and the bottom. And so basically what I want to do is I've chosen 10 glands in the endocrine system, 10 that I think are pretty important. There are more than that. And then I've just chosen one hormone for each of these, and we're going to talk about that. So let's start at the top. First one's going to be the pineal gland. Pineal gland is going to be right here. Basically what the pineal gland is going to secrete is a chemical called melatonin. It does that only when it's nighttime. And so if your eyes are open during the day, you're not going to be secreting melatonin. But when you close your eyes at night, it's going to start giving off melatonin. And so basically what that does is it allows our brain to tell what time of the day it is, and it also allows us to figure out what season it is. And so basically we can set up what's called our circadian rhythm. So it's basically our internal clock, and it's pineal gland doing that. Next, let's move down here. This part of our brain is actually called the hypothalamus, and the hypothalamus is kind of the connection between the brain and the endocrine system. And so it can secrete hormones as well, but we're going to say it's influencing the pituitary. We're going to talk about what the pituitary does. Pituitary, basically, if we were to look at it like this, the pituitary, let me blow that up a little bit. So the pituitary is going to go down like this, and so it's going to have two lobes to it. It's going to have the anterior. Anterior means towards the front or towards the head, and then it's going to have the posterior. Posterior is going to be towards your rear end, is the best way to think about it. And so what's the anterior pituitary give off? Well, it gives off growth hormone. It gives off a number of other things. It gives off endorphins, it gives off follicular stimulating, it gives off all these different hormones, but one that we're going to talk about is growth hormone. What's growth hormone going to do? Growth hormone, again, is going to float throughout the rest of your body. It can do that in the circulatory system or throughout the interstitial fluid, and basically it's going to cause the cells to grow, so they're going to get bigger. If we talk about the next one, posterior pituitary, it gives off oxytocin, but the one important hormone we're going to talk about is antidiuretic hormone, or ADH. And so antidiuretic hormone, well, you know what diarrhea is, and so what is antidiuretic? Antidiuretic is going to be a hormone that holds on to fluids inside our body. Where is that going to go? It's going to go to our kidney, because our kidney is in control of osmoregulation. What's the next one? Next one, as we work our way down, is going to be the thyroid. So we're going to move all the way down here. This would be the thyroid gland. It's right in here. Basically, it does two things that are important. It gives off what are called T3 and T4. Those hormones and the numbers relate to the number of iodine atoms that are found within it. And so basically, you've maybe heard of a goiter when you get an inflamed thyroid. Basically, what our thyroid does is it regulates metabolism. And so it's going to give off these two chemicals, T3 and T4, and that's going to speed up metabolism inside our body. Right. And so if you have a hyperactive thyroid, then you have high metabolism. If you have a inactive thyroid, then you're going to have really slow metabolism. And so basically it's control of that. And the other thing that it does is it secretes something called calcitonin. And again, endocrine systems are really important in feedback loops. And so the calcium that we have in our blood, the level that we have, is super important, especially in nerves and in muscle firing. If we don't have the correct amount of blood calcium, we're going to die. And so basically what the thyroid does is that when you secrete the thyroid, it's going to lower the calcium. Well, where's the calcium going to go? It's going to go back into the, we're going to excrete some through the kidneys, but it's going to go back into the bones. And so there's another hormone that kind of goes with that. And so this looks like a butterfly, but there are going to be these tiny little hormones in here called the parathyroid. They sit right within the thyroid, and they're going to secrete something called parathyroid hormone. What does that do? Well, if the blood calcium level goes too low, it's going to raise the blood calcium. And so these two, the thyroid and the parathyroid, are going to work together to basically keep the blood calcium level correct. It's the same way that insulin and glucagon work in the pancreas. Speaking of which, let's go to the next one. And so the pancreas, it's kind of hard to see in this diagram, but the pancreas is going to sit right here. It's again behind the stomach, and it's going to empty right here into the duodenum, so it's going to empty enzymes in here. But it's also on its surface, it's got beta and alpha cells that are going to secrete insulin and glucagon. Insulin is going to be secreted if we ever need to lower the blood sugar, and glucagon if we ever need to raise the blood sugar. So basically what insulin does is when it's secreted, it allows our cells to take in that blood sugar, that glucose. And glucagon, when we release that, it's going to release more of that insulin from glycogen that's found right here in the liver. So that's the pancreas. On the top of our kidneys, so these would be our kidneys right here, on the top of them we have our adrenal glands. The adrenal glands have two parts to it. The adrenal cortex is going to be on the outside. The adrenal cortex is basically what it does is secretes glucocorticoids. And so if you ever have an injury and you get huge amount of inflammation in it, they secrete anti-inflammatories. And so if you've ever taken an anti-inflammatory, example would be like Advil, basically the glucocorticoids are going to do the same thing. They don't need to act right away. And so these are actually connected by hormones to the pituitary. So the message can come from the brain, we have an injury, down to the pituitary and eventually to the adrenal cortex. But that's not what you're familiar with in the adrenal gland. You're familiar with adrenaline. And so there's a nervous connection from the brain all the way down here to the center of the adrenal gland. That's called the adrenal medulla. Basically, what is it going to have it do? It's going to secrete epinephrine. Epinephrine is adrenaline. It's going to go throughout your body, and it's going to trigger that fight or flight response. And so again, if you almost get in a car accident, nervous system is going to allow you to kind of not get in that car accident. But after that, you're going to feel this adrenaline coursing through your body. Your metabolism is going to speed up. You're going to suppress like your digestive system. You're going to become more alert, and that's all as a result of the adrenal medulla. Okay, next we've got down at the bottom we just have the sex hormones and the signal from the pituitary gland that says now it's time to make these parts of the thyroid out, and the person would immediately die because they didn't understand what the parathyroid did. So parathyroid is going to be inside here. What's it going to secrete? Parathyroid hormone, that's right, and that's going to raise blood calcium. And I hope that's all helpful.
Yeah. So this gives you idea that how many glands are, and they send all of this information. Huh? Yeah, I gotta put it on. Yeah. I gotta disconnect that. Oh, I can do it here. Yeah, yeah. So Leishia produces feeling which interacts with these glands and influence our hormones. The hormone mixed with blood reach the nervous system and controls the brain, which manages and control our emotion, thought, speech, conduct, and behavior. So both of this system, endocrine glands and a brain, nervous system, they work both together. And we'll see the nervous system has to do with Jnana Varniya Karma, Darshana Varniya Karma, so next slide will give you some idea how everything is related. Oh, I should put on the show. These are the one tells you that's a sleeping problem. And that one is called, part of the Darshanavaniya karma. This is a Nam karma because it has to do with calcium of the bones. And you can see the blood sugar. This is energy. This is calcium for bones. Increases heart rate. There's so many here in any of this not functioning right, you can say it's asata vedaniya karma. Again, this is same, pretty much same. The sleep habit, the blood pressure goes up and your emotion goes high or low. This is another blood pressure. It's a blood pressure. This digestion, if you have a stomach not feeling well or doing something. It's called Vedaniya karma. There is a Shata and a Shata Vedaniya karma. Yes, if it is something not right, it's all a Shata Vedaniya karma. Anything to do with physical body not working, we feel unpleasant. And that, if you can see in that sheet, I think it should be a Vedaniya karma. And, where the Bandhana karma. Right. Yeah, we're going through this one. So I think we're going to skip all these glands. I think we've already gone through. So fruition of inauspicious karma, which is papa karma, produces ashubhlesha. And this produces negative urge, impulses, imbalance in endocrine secretion in the body. And hormone imbalance produces powerful negative emotion, feeling and behavior. And you can see all this kashaya. Even violence. Cruelty. So this produces emotional tension as well as attract more inauspicious karma. This is where we get all papa karma. Emotions, Now this is the bleed over from emotions. Fear, anger, sadness, doubt, tension, And if it is a good one, you can be joyful and, tolerance and relief. So it works both ways. We just wanted to make sure that we are on this side of emotions and not other side of the emotion. The mostly is to stay neutral no matter what is happening. Once you are neutral, no new karma is coming. But it's hard when your emotion takes over. So if you look at the brain, there is emotions, there is behaviors, there is a vision. So you can see the correlation between our modern science, what's saying, where emotion is coming from, and our mohaniya karma, a behavior or proper, vision is again darshanavaniya karma. So when we, so this is all we are correlating now. And this is, I think you have this chart. Mostly I was talking about this. These are kashaya, but this is, we saw our bleed over. Remember, fear, sorrow, liking and disliking of worldly things, laughing and joking. Those are all bleed over of emotions, and those are our charitra mohaniya kashaya, no kashaya. You know, everybody together, ask questions if or later, anyway, to save time. That's true. The imbalance in emotional tension causes weakness in immune system. Whenever there is wrong bacteria, his immune system fights them. But if you have this emotion or a mohaniya karma, that you cannot fight those immune system, causes inflammation in the body. This is all science is telling us. Yeah, mohaniya karma. All your emotions, all your blood sugar level going up and down, any abnormality in the body, it somehow, if it affects our body cell. And with the proper thinking and proper behavior, following Arihant Lord path and doing all this ashrava to stop the influx of karma, maybe we can take care of what we have done in a past life or because of our past karma. But if you do with samatva, with equality and equanimity, and do it with samta, then those cells wouldn't have that bad of an effect. So it's tied up, all our chemical reactions of hormones and all the cells sending all the messages. When we take nervous system, you will see each cell, function of each cell. Some cells do storage, some cells transport protein. You can just imagine hundreds of billions of cells working in our body and 10 times more bacteria. How our conscious mind control all of this at the laser speed, as laser accuracy. And that's because of electromagnetic vibration from karmic body and tejas body. And those are like a laser, One laser beam, you can send 90,000 TV station on a one laser beam with a fiberglass. It's like a hair. So there is a tremendous, what modern science is telling us and what we seeing in our body, we can correlate. And modern science is doing all of this because they have taken pictures of conscious mind versus some other mind where you stop your mind working. They can see the different aura and they can see different change in biophotons or karmic vibrations, and it's affecting total body cells. So message from nucleus of cell secrete toxin and poison into our bloodstream. Whenever there is emotions. Nucleus of a cell. Nucleus is the one, it reacts to DNA. This bacteria doesn't have a DNA, but those biophotons change the DNA structure, genes and everything, There are 30,000 genes in our body, and quite a few we don't know. And some of those, when you read about Nam Karma, it could be related to some of those items in the Nam Karma. So science is a long way to go than what our Arihant Lord has said. Physical disease and disorder. Emotion, tensions are time bomb to explode all kinds of physical element. Heart disease, diabetes. Most of these diseases are psychosomatic cause or worsened by emotional tension and stress. And we see the mohaniya karma is the ringmaster of all karma. So this ringmaster is the troublemaker. So if we can control our mohaniya karma, we got along, we have achieved a long path. Bhavana, they're saying positive thoughts permeates in every cell of the body, produces healing biochemicals, and purges toxin out. So, forgive everybody, be straightforward. We saw that slide. Nirjara, pure bhavana, right? I think thus Lakshmana is nothing but the 12 bhavana, have those bhavana no matter what your situation is, rich or poor, honor or insult, unpleasant or pleasant, cold or heat, stay within samta, equanimity, equality, and then automatically, therapeutic thinking, we may save money on going to the doctor, once we do this. The hormone mixed with the blood reach the nervous system and brain, which manages, thought, conduct, behavior. Emotion, thoughts is reflection of mohaniya karma, ghati karma, right? So now we go on a nervous system. We'll stop here, see how many slides I got. I got 201 slides, and we got 450 slides to go plus many of those. But we'll do it whatever time it takes. So Vipin bhai, we carry until 10:30 or 10:30 they're going to turn off the lights. Few more minutes? Okay, we'll go 4 more minutes. Anyway, this nervous system is a system in a highway along with your brain. Sends and receive information. Panch Indriya sends this information to the nervous systems, and they get all recorded in our brain, and brain tells us, what to do. This highway is made up of billions of nerve cells, or nerve cells we join together to make nerves. Nerve is a fiber that sends impulses through the body. Those fiber I compare with laser fibers, the neutron. There's a neutron video. It just tells you how they communicate. Each neutron puts out this energy. This Tejas body is actually electrical body. Whole our body puts out small voltages. We know our heart is not working right. You put a little pacemaker, and it arranges your rhythm. So that's all electricity. So all of this body puts out electromagnetic waves, and we can't live without electromagnetic waves. We have electromagnetic waves coming out of the earth. Without electromagnetic waves, we'll fly away someplace in the universe. We all get. So this is all tied up with all electromagnetic waves, because we live with a harmony with the nature. The hormone which blood reach the nervous system, brain, which manages, we did that. Now here is the nervous systems, each neuron, when we see the video, there's some kind of communication going through. And that communication goes through from physical body to the brain, from all over our body. If we get burned, the message is sent, whatever happens to anything, So we'll see that video. Sensory system consists of receptor, neutral pathway, and parts of the brain involved in sensory perception. So we have some voluntary work, some involuntary. So here, this one shown how this Panchindriya, here is the skin, all, like all the messages, Panchindriya messages goes through the brain. Some are voluntary, some are non-voluntary. Vision, hearing, taste, smell, equilibrium, somatic senses, they all get that information to the brain. So here is the five indriyas, again. How it communicates, and they both work together, our glands and nervous system. See all this information going on a spinal cord to the brain. Now when you see the function, now here you can see, put it all together. Here is consciousness, right? That's a Jnana Varniya Karma. Intelligence, that's again Jnana Varniya Karma. Reading, that's Jnana Varniya Karma. Behavior, intelligence, memory. Here is again memory, speech, something to do with the bhasha or vision. There is again Darshana Varniya Karma. Intelligence means ability to acquire, understand, use of knowledge. Shruta Jnana, all of those Jnana. I think it's probably more repeat. Understanding, it's again. And like I say, they are still looking into what part of brain is, doing what. This is perception, Darshana Varniya Karma. Sensation and perception, process by which our sense organ receive information from the environment. Actually, environment around us, it senses all this information. If there is a movie, our eye says, hey, it's a nice movie, come on, go see, so anything. This chart you have, so I think we're going to learn all about, this is what the intelligence, memory, Mati Jnana, Shruta Jnana comes under Jnana Varniya Karma. Moniya Karma is emotions, and then here is the toxic passion. Antarai Karma, here this enjoyment, bhoga, not if you have blood sugar high, you want to enjoy that mango, you can't, so those are all antaraya, you can't enjoy, you can't give charity, you want to give charity, but you become greedy, or you worried about tomorrow, what's going to be happen if I get sick and go in assisted living, costs so much. So those are all fear we, feel. This is Darshana Varniya Karma, this is perception. The light sleep, this is again Darshana Varniya Karma. We saw those glands, mellow time, mellow. Vedaniya, Asha, this one we see all the time, right? So, Ayushya Karma, lifespan determining. When, we start with the 1 or 2 cells and we got hundreds of billions of cells in our body. But when time is to depart this earth, those regeneration doesn't happen. All of a sudden cells keep going down, and that Kirlan photography, it won't have any aura. This Nam you have a Nam Karma and everything in there, like calcium, for the bones, how bodies are made, our body color, which is heredity, this is all our genes. And that's all Nam Karma. Maybe science has found out only maybe 20% or 30% about what Nam Karma is. Other one, they don't know. Okay. I think it's almost 5. We'll go one more. Hormone mixed with the blood reaches the nervous system, brain, which manages our control. I think we repeat this. Jnana Varniya, Darshana Varniya Karma, Antraya and Mohaniya karma. Now this is another one. Dementia is a disease which affects intelligence and memory. And this is again Alzheimer disease. Alzheimer disease, which has dementia, a disease which affects intelligence. So whenever your cells which responsible for intelligence and memory, so when that Jnanavarniya karma, those cells are not working, we get all this disease. Stroke, you can know stroke, epilepsy, Alzheimer, concussion, tumor, multiple sclerosis, any brain related disease is related to our Jnanavarniya karma. So you can see the correlation between modern sciences, telling us, what part of the body, what, and then. Our glands provide a transformer that establishes connection between subtle and physical body. This gland thus converts the signal of soul into chemicals which finally control the body and mind. Whole body is chemicals, hormones are chemicals, protein is chemicals, everything we eat is chemicals. We take Advil and, helps a lot, so depending, so our thoughts are based on our feeling, emotion, and Leshya provide connection between subtle. I think next time we'll start with the Leshya. The feeling or thought which arises in the mind of a soul by contact with karmic matter is called Leshya. Leshya is coloring of the soul. The color of Leshya varies from person to person. And you see this picture, what type of Leshya. One guy said, hey, I want to cut the tree from bottom. So we'll go through Leshya next time. And then how Leshya works with our, gets back to karmic vibrations. मिच्छामि दुक्कडम कहीं भूलचूक शास्त्र विरुद्ध बोल्यो होय तो मिच्छामि दुक्कडम दया वैसे नौका नमो अरिहंताणम नमो सिद्धाणम नमो आयरियाणम नमो अज्जायाणम नमो लोये सौहुणम एसो पंचनमुक्कारो सौवपावपणासनो मंगलाणं च सर्वेसि परमं हवै मंगलम्.